Trae Young, the highest scoring second half of his career with those 32 points. Took care of the ball as well in the second half. That goose egg on the bottom right, no turnovers. That is a huge part of why Atlanta is able to come back and win this game. Tim Legler has sat down here. And Tim, as we watch this game together, we had the sense, right? Cleveland's got this lead, but it feels like it needs to be more. You just sense that at some point, Trae Young's going to find that gear. I talked about it during the highlight. When he did, what happened?
Yeah, when it was 9, it felt like it should have been 15, right? When it was 6, it should have been 10.
Right.
Once he got it to a workable margin, it was Trae Young's game. And this guy just has immense skill, and he's got just unbelievable nerve and not a drop of self-doubt. This is where it started right here. You see tie game, and this is where he takes over. And here's what Trae Young is processing right now as he comes up. He's not only looking at his defender, he is already looking up the floor at who is guarding his screener, and that's going to be Lauri Markkanen back here. So now, as he operates along the sideline, and Markkanen does a pretty good job for a 7-footer. He cuts off the sideline. The problem is, and this is these big lineups they play, you now have a 7-footer. He's perfectly upright on the perimeter. Against Trae Young, that's just not going to happen. But now it's the next part that amazes me. He gets into this gap right here, and now take a look at Evan Mobley, because that's going to be the next line of resistance. Well, he's not going to get the rim over him, so instead, where do you go? 10-foot floater over an outstretched hand. Unbelievable skill. I love this one, because this one might not end up in a Trae Young highlight, but this is what he does right here. He's going to take the basketball to the left side, knowing full well that if he can get the ball down here into the gap, he's going to be able to draw multiple defenders. And in this case, he drags 3 with him, and he's got 1 pass, Scott, that he can make. And we both were amazed at this. He throws a left-hand hook pass to the opposite side of the floor and puts this thing on a rope, and it's such a great pass. He ends up making 2 defenders react to the same shooter. So it's not Trae Young that gets the assist. It's going to be the next pass.
It's the hockey assist.
That's exactly right. It's going to end up right here, but it's all created by Trae Young. And how do you know that? I'll stop it one more time, because look at where Trae Young is, and look at what he has generated. He's dragged 5 people into the paint, makes the other 2 go to his first pass, and that means Bogdanović is just going to stand up here, and this is just a practice shot. One more swing. Nice look right there by Gallinari. That's an easy play. Bogdanović with the 3, and right there, that, to me, was the shot that got the separation they needed. I know it got a little dicey at the end, but that is where Atlanta took control of the game with their best player once again proving he absolutely loves this environment. He loves this moment. He showed us last year, and he's doing it again right now.
Pick and roll game, so much of what they do. Capella goes down, and I mentioned what happened to Giannis last year, and you just never know with a hyperextension, and we're not trying to diagnose it here. You can figure out a way to survive a half without him. You go into a series without Miami, if he's unable to go, how much does that compromise their chances?
It's an enormous loss, particularly against a team like Miami that is so good defensively and versatile, and they're going to load up on Trae. And who usually benefits from that? It's Capella, right? Because he's got the pocket passes and the drop-offs and the lobs. He also gets you probably anywhere from 6 to 8 extra possessions a game because of the rebounds he comes up with, and the one that he forces 2 guys to block him out that somebody else gets that don't show up on a stat sheet. So those extra possessions, and then making teams pay for that extra line of defense they want to throw at Trae Young. It's an enormous loss. We don't know what's wrong. It looked awful. Like you said, I don't know if he's going to recover the way Giannis did. I didn't like the way his face looked and the things he was saying laying there. Usually the athlete knows before anybody.
Exactly.
And I was worried about that. Let's see what happens. But listen, Atlanta's hot at the right time, and they got a dude that can dominate a game as a playmaker or a scorer. That's a handful for Miami regardless. I think the Heat will win the series, but it's not going to be easy, and Trae Young is the reason.
I joked with you upstairs that the thing that the person like me asks the person like you, and I asked it of Mark, is about playoff experience. I mean, did we see the value of that in a game like this where Atlanta doesn't flinch even down 10 points and down a significant player? Is that what we saw, or do we just make that a convenient explanation for it, the experience showing itself in these games?
I think it's always a factor in the moment, but I didn't see anything on the part of Cleveland that said, it was a little bit too big for them. They're not quite ready for this progression yet. I didn't see that. What I saw was they had the best player on the floor. They have a natural confidence that emanates from that because they know they've got a guy that's completely unnerved by the situation. That's got, I said to you, he's got every club in the bag because he has every shot at his disposal that he needs against any defense. And I think for me, it's more about Trae Young's talent than it is, Cleveland not quite navigating the pressure of the moment. Yeah, experience helps what they did last year, but you know what really helps? Running out onto the floor every night with number 11, knowing this guy's got an answer for pretty much anything he sees.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.